Well, welcome everyone to Voices Randomish Motivate Monday. I'm your host, Eldridge Alexander, and I want to thank you for tuning in tonight to this broadcast. So, the purpose of the broadcast tonight is really just to talk to you about the power of manifestation and how, if you really want something, it actually can come true. It does. And so, I kind of been watching what's going on with the manifestation that I've been doing. So I'm going to take you back just a little bit. But first of all, shirts is my shirt. You know, everything is about this. Okay, this shirt ties into the discussion tonight. So tonight, for those of you who the first time joining the channel, first of all, thank you again for joining Voices Randomish tonight. For those of you who are subscribers that are returning to the channel tonight, I just want to spend probably the next 23 minutes talking to you about the power of manifestation and how it really works. So, about 18 months ago, I had a life reading done in order to try to figure out like what my purpose is. Because what I can say is that I've been in some pretty serious long-term relationships in my life, but all those relationships ended in tragedy, right? So I lost a fiance at the age of 18 unexpectedly from an unknown heart disorder that he had. Uh, I had a rebound marriage that lasted for about 3.5 years. He ended up being a little bit wacko. And so I'm glad I'm out of that relationship. That's another whole story that I can tell you about how you don't ever supposed to push in a relationship because you never know what the outcome could be. The third relationship lasted a marriage for 21 years and ended in divorce after some infidelities, not on my part. And then my last husband passed away after 20 years of being in a really good relationship. So I kind of started to wonder after my husband passed away, March of 2018. It's going to be 3 years this year, right? So what happens is when you go through the grief process, you get introspective, and introspection and reflection is one way for you to move through the grief process because you're in shock, you're in denial, you're in pain, you have anger, you have fear, you have all these other emotions that are rattling around in your head that you really don't know where to put them and what to do with it. So for me, I always result to introspection, and that introspection for me resulted in me saying, hey, I really want to have a reading, just like you have the numerology reading that they take the letters of your name and they equate to certain numbers, and those numbers tell what your life's journey was in the past, the present, the future. So it's sort of like a guiding force. And a lot of times people say, oh, this is a bunch of malarkey, it's some hooey. Well, I can tell you that I've been studying numerology probably, and just the stars and all the different ways that the universe connects us, because I'm an earth sign. So earth, air, wind, fire, we know that all elements have impact on our bodies, and then we're impacted by other things, and then we can impact the forces. So I really wanted to know more about me personally. So after this last situation where my husband passed away, I thought, okay, in every lesson, in every relationship that we have, it's designed to teach us something. And whether that relationship when you first start out is to help you to grow in a certain kind of way, to come into your own, or whatever it is, each person that you encounter feels a void or hole or something that you may not have, but that person fills that space for you, right? And at some point in life, once you go through a series of relationships, all the things that you gleaned or learned from those relationships will have culminated into knowledge. And the knowledge will turn into wisdom. And the difference will be that you will know something, but the wisdom piece is making the connection between what I know and how to apply it to move forward. So if from each relationship that were long-term monogamous relationships, if I go back and do what I always do and reflect, what was I supposed to learn and carry forward to the next relationship to help me to build upon it? so I can get to a place where I can find what my purpose is. That's what it's really all about. Because I believe you operate in life like these remnants of you in stages, right? And you're moving through stages. You move through birth, and then you in your toddlers, and then you in your childhood, and your preteens, and your teens, and your young adults, right? And then middle, and then older, and so on. You move through these stages in your life, and I always like to think of them in sevens. So like every 7 to 9 years, something is going to roll over. So like when you're looking at the numbers in tarot, is usually use 0 to 9, right? Or 1 to 9, because 0 is not a number. So if you think about it, from 1 to 9, each letter of your name has a number equated with it. And what they do is they take your first name, your middle name, your last name, your date of birth, and find your destiny numbers, your heart desire, your personality, and then they add a lot of things up, and then it comes down and it equates to a distributions of numbers in your name, and to tell you what lessons you need to learn in life. So when I had mine done, my birth date, since it's 9/15/58, it ended up being like 38. And then when you 3 and 8 is 11 divided by 2, those are master numbers that are 1. And then your birth date, when you look at a 9 and a 1, is a 10. If you take the 0 off, it's a 1. If you look at 3 and 9, it's 12. 1 and 2, that's a 3. 5 and 2 is a 7. And 1, 2, and 9 equals what? 12, 13. 1 and 2 is 3. And then you add up the numbers and other things, and it comes out to be a 9. So basically, each time that I actually change my name, whether it was through marriage or even once I restore my maiden name or what have you, the numbers remain the same. And the numbers have significant meaning as to what the key characteristics in my life or the ruling things are, lessons learned, the path that I'm supposed to take, what my destiny is, what my purpose, what I really, really want to do, and where I'm going to end up. So what I really liked about this is that you go through stages in your life, like I said, right? And then you have like the stage that you're at to tell you what could possibly be going on in your life. So if I look at the first, second, and third stage, right? If the first stage of your life is 0 through 34, I already went through that. The second stage is 35 to 43. I went through that. The third stage was 44 to 52. I went through that. And now the fourth stage is your fifth pinnacle, 53 to the end of your life. Okay, so that's where I'm at, 53, over 53, right? So I look at my numbers, and it's like I wanted to really know, what am I supposed to be doing at this point? And the interesting thing about this is that before I even did this, I actually had begun. Everybody talks about the book The Secret, but let me tell you, it's more to The Secret than meets the eye. Here are the other books and things that you have to go through and practice if you really want to manifest. And I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about. This is The Secret Gratitude book, where like you write down every single day, like stuff that you're grateful for. And I swear, this book is filled up, and it's little things that you can, that I wrote down and stuff. I'll read a few of them that I said. I don't even know what day this was, but I was like, thank you for motivating me. Thank you for the Alexa. Thank you for the internet. Thank you for Amazon Music. Thank you for my home. Thank you for a washer and a dryer. I thank you for a home office. Thank you for great neighbors who helped me with the snow removal and home maintenance. I was thank you for my health and wisdom, knowledge, and guidance. And thank you for helping me to relax and think. So that's one of the exercises that when you are practicing the steps to manifestation, it requires you to write things down. So if you practice those steps every single day, that means you write something every day, right? I swear my book is filled up, and I look for places in the book to actually find a place to try to write in the book. Okay, so you might say, well, what does all this have to do with manifestation? Well, that's one of the steps that you have to do, right? You got to write. The other one is you have to be deliberate in doing what they call cueing the magic. So there are steps, things that you actually do each day, like things that you do to bring the magic to life in your universe, right? It says for whole 28 days. And the first thing they tell you to do is to sit down on a computer with or pen and a paper, make a list of what you really want in every area of your life, in your relationships, your career, your finances, your health, and every area that's important to you. And you can be as specific and detailed as you like. But remember, your job is to simply list what you want. Now you're not how you're going to get there or to get what you want. The how will be done for you when the gratitude works is magic. So really, what I saw with these actions is like the secret is really understanding that you can manifest anything that you want, right? You just got to be deliberate in what it is and focus. The second piece is that you have to, even though you can manifest something and show up, you take steps to bring it into the universe. And like one of those steps might be, like I said, with this gratitude book, is to write down every single day the things that you're thankful for, because it'll ask you what these things are, right? The other thing is that you have specific activities that you actually have to do every single day for 28 days in order to bring the magic into life. Because what they say is that no matter where you are, your belief system got to find its way into the action items that you're doing. Because if you have belief without substance or substance without belief, it's not going to work. You got to have both of them. So really what they tell you is that as we express gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. And this is from Rhonda Byrne in The Magic. So if there's something that you're grateful and thankful for, and you really are, you have to elicit those words or note those words out into the universe. That's what it's telling you to do. And then the third thing, this other book, which was the fourth book, because it was The Secret, The Magic, the Gratitude book, right? Because if I cue the magic and something by asking it, by doing the activities that it tells me to do, and then something good shows up, my next step should be to be grateful for it, right? And then understand my role in, once I attain the things that I want to do, how to follow my bliss, how to understand that everything I do is a thread that's connected to my dreams. And so this is where it really got deep for me. It's like, so, okay, so the first thing is that when I was writing out this book, I was making the list of the things that I really wanted to do. And it was 3 years ago. It was probably about April or May of 2018. Like I said, after my husband passed, I was going through the grief stage. One of the things that they tell you to do is write. And that has always been a catharsis for me. So I started writing, and I wrote down the things that I really wanted. And the honest to goodness thing is that there is a piece of paper back here behind me with the things that I wrote on that list when I was going through this stuff. So you can't really see the board and stuff, but you will see this picture down here with me and my sisters from the show V.O.I.C.E.S Random, which is one of the first pictures that we actually took together when we first did the show 2 years ago in September. But the crazy thing is here's my little raggedy note that I have. And this little raggedy note, these notes are from July of 2019, right? And so what I was doing is here, I was like, what do I want? And the first thing I had in here is that I wanted to become closer to God. I mean, from a lot of people, whoever you believe or whatever the universe is, I said that I wanted to be closer and connected. So then when I was talking to my spiritual guide or my tarot reader, the first thing that she said in here was really keep your faith, and you'll never, a prosperity will reign. So it was like I was getting messages not only from Rhonda Byrne's book, The Secret, that talked about having faith and writing things down that you want them before you even see them manifest, and then being grateful for them before they show up. That's the definition of faith, because you're really sitting there being grateful for something that you hope for, and you haven't even seen it yet. You have no evidence of how it's going to actually show up, but there's something inside of you that says, I know that this is going to happen because something is telling me that it's going to happen, right? So it was like little things that I actually wrote down on this sheet of paper. And what freaked me out is that on here, I said that I wanted to start a YouTube show. Okay. I'm happy to be able to celebrate going on. This is 2021. It'll be the full second year that I've actually done V.O.I.C.E.S Randomist. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers, 989 subscribers when I last looked. So when I was talking to my spiritual guide, the lady that does my tarot, Bethany at In the No Tarot, the cards kept coming up saying, slow but steady, slow but steady. Like a lot of times when we want things, the reason why we quit is because we don't see them happen right away. But Does that mean that it's not going to happen? No, that's where your faith has to kick in, and you have to continue to believe that all of the foundational things that you did to put something in place are actually going to manifest and yield a fruit. Any seed that you planted, if you planted the right seeds, you telling yourself, I know I planted the right seeds. I know I did everything that I was supposed to do in order to do what I needed to do. So there's that. The show is right on here. I actually have a couple of other things. So I want, the first thing I started with is I was like, I guess I'll do Poshmark, and that was just to kill time. I put things on Poshmark now as passive income. I don't do it as much, but I put things out there and I look and I have to check it because things sell, and I didn't even realize, like, it could be 2 or 3 days before I look. When before I was totally focused on it, so it's something. That was the first thing. Then I said the YouTube channel. And I've been doing the YouTube channel. I love it. I love, love, love. That's why I came back to YouTube and to stay focused on YouTube, because this is where my audience is, the learning and the education. I like to do content like this. So I was like, go back to what the focus is, Eldridge. What is it that you want to do? Shopify was the third thing on my list. I launched my Shopify store and I've made 4 sales so far. Okay. I'm telling you, the next thing that I have on here is books and workshops, because I was working on my book. And I feel like it's really kind of crazy, because I can tell you the steps that I took to do it. And all you have to do is tune in each week, because I'm going to tell you the steps that I took to get into the things that I really wanted. The other thing that I really wanted to tell you is there's a dream job that I actually wanted. The dream job that I've been working all my life, going to school for, I mean, just working towards doing every single thing I could do, every single course that I've actually taken since I graduated from college, all the research that I've been doing. And lo and behold, the books on culture and diversity and inclusion. Now that's sort of been my niche for like the last 30 years, right? A lot of people don't know, but I've done a lot of cultural work. I studied Africology. As a matter of fact, up there with those degrees up there, there's a thing for African studies where I have my bachelor's degree with a minor in Africology, right? So at that time when I was going through studying, there were a lot of things that we learned in the School of Africology at that time, instead of the School of African American Studies, because that's what it was called, Africology. At that time, they didn't have a PhD program, because had they had a PhD program, I would have stayed on, but I ended up in the master's program over in the Department of Communication, studying rhetoric, which allows you to study sociology, psychology, biology. You could study any and every discipline. I mean, I was able to find things when they would talk about, like, they were talking about the birth of knowledge and the birth of medicine. And I was able to go find stuff and say, oh, this is what you're talking about, how diseases are manifest, or same to me as troubleshooting onset, frequency, duration of a disorder. It's the same way. So he was talking about how you diagnose stuff, but that just tells me that there's structures and there's ways of looking at things. So when everybody started talking about diversity and inclusion and the different titles that people actually use, I actually went back to look and see what were the components or the requirements of the curriculum that I took in school when we were studying what at that time wasn't even a curriculum, right? We were studying components of diversity as it related to communication and how those intersections impacted our ability to communicate. So for example, if you're in the LGBTQIA community and you're a Black person and you're a female who doesn't identify with any of the gender, and male, female, you're non-binary or what have you, how does that impact your life? Right? What are the things that come together as certain systems to impact your ability to what? Buy property, get married, have children, inherit things, have a certain role in a job, have insurance, what type of benefits you can have, what type of area you can live in, all the intersections where things can show up in your life to impact your ability to move forward. And I knew for me, I didn't know what people called it at that time. It wasn't nothing called diversity and inclusion. It was just understanding the psychology, the sociology, the biology, the anthropology, the communication aspects of people from every facet, whether it was communication and family, whether it was communication internationally, whether it was intercultural communication, which is what everything around diversity was the evolution of, or sort of the foundation on which things is built. Because if right, cultural, thinking about culturally how to interconnect with other groups that are different cultures. So when you study in sociology, you study things about Shakers, Pilgrims, you might study the Amish, but you also study the different groups that are inside of African cultures, right? Pygmies versus Watusi. You study rainforest people or bush people, just all kind of things. And then you learn even over in the countries of Asia and over in the other countries where there's, everybody thinks that everybody looks alike or talks alike or sounds alike. You learn that people are different. And so for me, it was always and still is my passion to really, really understand people and what it is that we have in common that makes us feel good about each other. So I just want to close and say, I really love the fact that you can take information like this, you can apply it, and you can watch it unfold into a promotion at your job. I got promoted to a role that I've actually wanted, where I'm an officer at my company now. It's a corporate role, and it's a cultural transformation leader. And I know most people talk about diversity and inclusion, but I like the sound of being a cultural transformation leader because of the fact that in society and culture right now, I feel like the transformation that we're all going through, especially the speed at which it's picked up and the trajectory which it's taken since the deaths of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, it's like light warp speed from what I saw 30 years ago. People were dragging their feet, but we have allies in ways that you never thought, in places, helping you in ways you never thought, and in places where we thought we'd never see them. And so what that does for me is it sparks my compassion and energy and passion and enthusiasm about doing what is not work for me, but it's an everyday part of my life and making people feel good about connecting with one another. And to me, that's what the diversity and inclusion work that people do out here, it's all about how we have really good interactions with people, and that after we leave those people, they are better off than they were before and during the interaction. That's really what it is for me. And that's why I studied and really mastered in interpersonal communication, because I really wanted to know within families, across families, every aspect of people, how can we communicate compassionately with people so that they know that we care about them and we know that we're all here for the same purpose, and that's to have a quality of life and to build a legacy that speaks about who we are. I think that what I really would want people to know about me is, and I always say this, I laugh, I was like, if you don't remember nothing else about Eldridge, just remember, she tried. She tried to make the world a better place. So think about what it is that you really want to do. And guess what? Here's the 3 things you got to do. The first one is, well, if you don't have the book, The Secret, you should get the book, The Secret, but more so, just get you a journal. Go to the dollar store, get you a book, and write down. And like they said, be real specific about what you want your life to look like. Because I wrote down exactly what I want my life to look like. And I swear, for the first time in my life, I feel like I no longer work, even though I am going to a corporate role every day. I feel like doing this show, working on my store, coming to talk to you every week, and doing what I do with helping people have a better quality of engagement or life. That's not work. That's living out your purpose. So I feel like I can apply things from the hero, which says, it's funny because I opened this book at random, and the first thing it said is never, never, never give up. It's too easy just to give up. Giving up is a cop-out. To go, I'm old, is this, I'm that. That's just a disclaimer to not really put out the effort. If you feel like you're done, then you are, because that's hopeless. We don't ever want to get to the point when we're totally hopeless. There's always hope. To me, something good is always going to come our way. And so if you remember nothing else from that, while we're in the pandemic and it always seems like nothing good is going to come our way, something good is going to come our way. Because see, you can cue the magic anytime that you want to. You can cue that magic by simply saying, I'm grateful. I'm grateful, and for whatever it is that you're grateful for. This was really kind of cool because on page 80 of this, it's this book was well before the pandemic, right? And it's just interesting that the page that I turned to on page 80 said, I'm so grateful to have had more time with my family during this period. So if you think about it in the generic terms, we've been on lockdown and quarantine, as opposed to not caring about what happened or lamenting what happened, turning into I'm grateful my life is in a lot better order because the time that I may have spent with reflection during the quarantine. I'm grateful for whatever it is that you wanted for the first time in my life, et cetera, et cetera. So that's where I'm going. So that's what the magic does. So again, you got the secret. So you identify and really are clear about what it is that you really want to do, what you feel in your soul. The second piece is you got the magic here by being grateful for things every day, just knowing. And then you have your gratitude journal, like specifically, like every time this book is real specific here to tell you ways to cue it. So like every time you take a step, you might say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for every time you take a step. That's one activity that they give you. And you get 10,000 thank yous in a day. Thank you to the universe for allowing me to be able to get up and take these steps. And then you come back at the end of the day and you write in your journal 2 or 3 things that you were grateful for, right? The fact that you were able to get up on your own volition, the fact that maybe you could swallow water, because what if you couldn't swallow, and you could take a deep breath. You got 3 things right there you can put in your gratitude journal, and throughout the rest of the day you can expound upon it, and that helps you be the hero that you can be. Like I said, just turn to page 132 and remember to never give up. So that's it for tonight. Just make sure you get your journal, do 3 things, and I'm here to tell you that if you do what I said you do, the stuff manifests. I'm living proof. It took a while, but it happened, you guys. I'm telling you, I never would have thought I would be an executive in my lifetime, but yes, it works. It works. You have got to put it out in the universe and claim it. I'm telling you. I feel really good. I'm so happy. And I don't care. I just want to do this work that I'm doing right now, or do these tasks, or helping people. I gotta find me another word, because it's not work. Live my passion, live out my dream. What I'm doing is I'm through what I do every day is I get to live my passion in what I do. That is not work. So make sure you subscribe to this channel, like, share with people. If you want to know more about how you can manifest your dreams, tune in each week. On tomorrow's Tea Kettle Talk on Voices Randomist channel, I'm your host, Eldridge Alexander. I'll be around at 8 o'clock, broadcasting from the Voices Randomist YouTube channel. Be sure to like and subscribe here and on Facebook, where we oftentimes have contests and we give away some great prizes. So on that note, it is 7:34. I'm going to find some things to do. Hey, actually, I have some articles and some things on cultural transformation that I'm excited to read. Again, just have a really great evening, and go on and write down the things that you want to manifest. Start out. Again, I can't say it enough. Be very, 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 very clear about what you want to do. I feel so calm. I swear I do. I just feel like super calm. I got to tell you, I really do. I mean, I have Michelle's book here, Michelle's Wit and Wisdom book, So in here it said, I learned to turn stumbles and missteps into sources of motivation. A week with 3 tests and 2 papers wasn't a reason to stress out, but a reason to plan. So if there's things that you want to do, then you have a reason to plan, don't you? And if you have a good enough reason, you can design any life that you want. I'm your host, Eldridge Alexander. And again, I want to thank you for joining me here tonight on Motivate Monday on the Voices Randomist YouTube channel. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow on Tea Kettle